Hello and welcome to the Holo Herald podcast. Today, I'm Eric. I'm going to be your host for today, and I'm going to be joined by two of my good friends. First, which being
Paul. I'm here again as usual. Pretty much going to be a weekly contributor, so that's always fun. So I'm happy to be on again one more week, the third one. So this should be interesting.
And the third wheel, the one, the only, the
Austin. Oh my goodness. Back
Austin,
again
the Swain Poon.
Oh my gosh. No. Yeah. Glad to be back with another episode of the Holo Herald podcast.
Okay, so today we got some interesting topics on the plate, on deck. But first, we're going to start off with a little fun. We're going to go ahead and we're going to give Austin, our main man, a schizophrenia test, a psychological test. Ask him a couple questions. Use the internet. You guys can go ahead and take this test too if you go to psychcentral.com/quizzes/schizophrenia. It's a pretty basic URL. You can go ahead and take this test. So we're gonna.
I knew you guys would do something like this.
So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just throw this right at him. He's unprepared and like the way I like it. Okay, Austin, do you feel that others control what you think and feel?
No.
I'm gonna put a little.
This is gonna be a skewed test.
I hear or see things that others do not hear or see.
Sometimes.
Okay, moderately. I feel it is very difficult for me to express myself in words that others can understand.
Oh, that's super hard for me.
All the time. I feel I share absolutely nothing in common with others, including my friends and family.
Wait, repeat that again.
I feel I share absolutely nothing in common with others, including my friends and family.
That's false.
Just a little. I believe in more than one thing about reality and the world around me that nobody else seems to believe in.
That's...
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess I'm thinking about it, so yes.
Yeah, definitely. Moderately. Quite a lot, actually, probably.
All the time.
Okay, all the time. Good call.
What the heck?
Others don't believe me when I tell them the things I see or hear.
Yes.
Okay, moderately. Quite a lot. I can't trust what I'm thinking because I don't know if it's real or not.
No.
Yes, just a little. I have magical powers that nobody else has or can explain.
No, I don't have magical powers.
Okay. Just a little. Others are plotting to get me.
I don't know about that, but I don't think so.
Yeah, well, you definitely think others are to get you. I see how you walk at night. I find it difficult to get a hold of my thoughts. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm just going to answer that one for you. You know what? I'm going to answer the rest for you. I'm treated unfairly because others are jealous of my special abilities.
Special abilities? What does that mean?
You know what it means.
Treated unfairly because others are jealous of my special abilities. Go ahead. Are you?
No.
People don't treat you unfairly because of your special abilities?
No.
Okay, somewhat. I talk to another person or other people inside my head that nobody else can hear.
Oh my god.
No, that never happens.
Oh, I hear you talk to yourself all the time, somewhat. Okay, let's see your score. It's a quick little test. Very scientific, medical. Your scored a total of 30. Based upon your responses to the schizophrenia screening measure, you appear to have some signs commonly associated with schizophrenia or schizophrenia-related disorder. Ooh. They include symptoms such as hallucinations, delusions, disorganized speech, and emotional flattening. Yeah, that sums up you pretty good, don't you think, Paul?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly, that's Austin to the T.
To the T?
It says this is a serious mental disorder requiring treatment. So...
Well, moving on.
I'm calling my doctor right now.
It says right here, 14 and up is early schizophrenia. You're double that, dude. That means you're onset schizophrenia.
Really?
Yeah. You should really get some help with that.
Well,
anyways,
I think I need to take the test again with me actually choosing
No,
the answers.
no.
So you guys could go check out that site. They've got a lot of quizzes. I don't know how many are really that scientific. We're not making fun of schizophrenia or anything. We're more making fun of those kind of tests. Don't take it that way. We actually just released a video recently where I said, tune in to see if we get lung cancer, and people got really offended, actually. I didn't mean to offend anybody by that statement. We were inhaling a lot of smoke. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, the internet will find anything they want to get out. We have no harm against people with schizophrenia. We just don't like test to see what flavor of toast you are or something like that. You know what I mean?
You know what? You can't talk about anything on the internet anymore without someone getting offended.
Oh yeah, I've heard it's like from people that's been on the internet, like Rooster Teeth and stuff like that. It's been getting worse over time.
Here's my ultimate beef. What good does getting offended do? Do they want change? What is it? I don't know.
For me to comment on a video on YouTube, I mean, it's got to be some pretty bombastic stuff. Even then, I won't comment. It's not to actually like take the time and comment something mean or nice is a lot of effort. I think I see it as flattering that someone took the time to out of their day to just to shit on me, like everybody on Reddit and YouTube and on our channel.
Yeah, I do love getting shat on because it means that we made an impression at least, and that's what's measured. So you do more harm. I mean, you do more good commenting mean things than if you would have just moved on and not said anything and just been mad and not, because we're not going to change our jokes and stuff just because you get mad at us because we're making jokes about lung cancer, which wasn't even making fun of lung cancer.
It wasn't even a joke. Yeah, it wasn't even. Well, I mean, I think in today's age, having haters is more important than having followers and people that like you. I mean, let's look at like Donald Trump or Milo Yiannopoulos. The only reason these people exist is because of their haters. It's not because of their supporters so much. It's because of the haters. So, I mean, bring on the hate. We'll take it as long as there's not just 100% hate. That would just suck. But I don't know. It's an interesting paradigm shift to see how instead of people from followers, like Casey Neistat is a good point. You know, he came out and said some stuff that some people didn't agree with, and he got a lot of hate for it. But his viewership and his subscriber rate and everything has gone up since then. It hasn't dropped at all. It's I don't know. It's very interesting. But I think Paris Hilton's been using that to her advantage for quite a while. So we could all take a lesson or two from her. So what do we have on our topic list today? Let's get into it.
So I think our first one was drone deliveries. We just wanted to get into that a little bit, especially because there was big news, I think, today, today actually, about Ford releasing a new concept for an autonomous van that has a bank of drones inside of it, which will, like, the van will drive out to your neighborhood, and the drones will leave the van to deliver packages right to your front door. So I thought that was pretty cool. What do you guys think?
Okay, I have a first question before we get into that too heavy. Is the car considered a drone, or are drones only things that are in the air? Since it's an autonomous driving car. I'm going to look up the definition of a drone. I'm really curious. Define drone. Go ahead and talk. You guys can talk about it.
I would say, in my opinion, before you tell us, I would say that a drone is the term for an autonomous flying vehicle. And we're just calling autonomous cars because that's life.
So this van pulls into a neighborhood and releases all these flying drones?
Yeah, it's like, so it acts as like a central hub. So it will have like a bunch of packages in it, and then drones to pick up the packages.
I had that idea today. Like, get a UPS truck, fill it with drones, and then they would deliver all the packages. That's
actually where it started. I think that's what made me think about this discussion is they similarly earlier this week UPS unveiled their new system where packages like under 12 pounds or something, the ceiling opens up on the UPS trucks. You guys can go, like, you can just Google UPS drone and it'll come up. And it was a big deal because on the second test of it and the showing, it actually failed and it almost crushed the drone and stuff, which I think the media blew it out of proportion. I mean, if you're ever demoing new tech, you're bound to have something bad happen, especially when you're not in the settings you need to be and stuff like that. I mean, it's such new technology, but people are all really scared that drones are going to crash into their houses and stuff now for no reason.
So Eric, let me ask you this question.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you think a drone is more practical for delivering personal packages or more like commercial uses, like between businesses or hospitals or whatever it may be?
So this is what I wanted to get into because I personally, I don't know if drone delivery is the way to go. I think drones can deliver 24/7. I think there's some pros and cons to each. Drones can go constantly 24/7. You just have to charge them. If you have solar panels on them, they're going to charge, There's definitely technology there to do it. But I worked for UPS for a little while, and I mean, we moved some large packages and a lot of packages very quickly, and I just don't see a drone being able to do that. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think?
Well, I was reading somewhere and exactly that. Like, large packages are pretty difficult to move with a drone. And it was explaining that the packages that would be moved by drones were time sensitive, valuable, and small. Those were the 3 criterias for drone shipping. And I don't know. I think that's if those 3 things meet that criteria, I think you're good to go, and it would be an effective way of moving material. But yeah, like you said, any larger packages, it would prove not good.
Yeah, so I think that's interesting you said, because we would do next day air stuff all the time, and I mean, it's hard to beat next day air. I mean, we would drop most packages off before 9 o'clock in the morning, or next day air stuff. It would get there very early in the morning. So, I mean, how much sooner? What are you shipping that you? At that point, if you need it that soon, I mean, you either need to go pick it up or you need to have it being delivered in the city. What it is, I don't know. I just don't see the uses for it. This is one technology I'm very curious to see how it goes. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, with that time-sensitive stuff, like, Amazon has that store where I live in Cincinnati where I can order something from the warehouse, it's delivered to the store, and I can pick it up on the same day. And I just go to, like, a kiosk, and an attendant hands me my package, and I'm on my merry way. So if I need to pick up, like, a thing of paper or like school supplies, I just order it there, drive to the store real quick, pick up my stuff, and leave, and that's my time-sensitive way to do it. And I think also in a city, drones would make the most sense, because you could have a little landing pad like right outside your window of your apartment, and a drone drops a package there, instead of you having to walk down to the front desk and ask them if a package arrived for you or something like that. I think that's where drones would be cool. Maybe not in a suburban setting.
What if, like, the package you were shipping couldn't be ordered on Amazon? Where I was reading this, it was talking about how the drones they shipped like blood samples to do tests to a hospital, and it was very quick and efficient way of doing it. It was quicker than actually transporting the blood. And they did it in a timely manner.
That's a good idea. That makes sense. I could see totally something for like business to business applications or medical to medical facilities. I could see that being used, but for as far, I mean, the problem arises too is there's going to be more and more. We're going to have to find a solution to this, because Warren Buffett just recently took all of his stock out of Walmart, and he said retail is going to die. It's a which is very like. Bold statement to make, especially from someone as profound as Warren Buffett. And so we're going to see these more online stuff. So they're going to have to figure out a way to meet this immediate demand that people are going to have. And I wonder if it's going to be drones or if it's going to be more driverless cars, because I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys see the future of delivery being like?
I can see it more like, so to replace grocery stores, I can just see it more being like the brick and mortar store where you order you press like the Amazon Dash button, and then you go to the store and it's all ready for you, and you just throw it in your driverless car, and you can have it even pick up the groceries for you, have a robot load it into the car, like have it like a drive-through thing, have it loaded into the right car, the car drives back to your apartment, you just have to walk downstairs to pick up your stuff.
Isn't a drone a much easier way of doing that, though?
A drone would be, but
yes, but
like
you
said,
can move the heavier packages that way.
Okay, so why not both?
Well, I mean, I think obviously it'd be an equilibrium of multiple things. I think autonomy is the main driving force between this. I'm just curious about the progression of such things, because the government has been trying to shut down drone technology for quite some time. Not shut it down. They've been trying to stifle it. They're scared of what it's capable of, so they've been trying to put a lot of regulations and a lot of...
Yeah, does anyone know the FAA regulations for, like, commercial drone stuff.
It's really strict. It's really, really, really strict. You have to be very careful. I know here you can't fly even just a little drone within like 150 feet of people, and you can't fly it too high, and you can't fly it around buildings and stuff like that. And that's just like your little GoPro drone. That's not like a huge drone that's meant to take out boxes and stuff. So I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting battle, I think, to see ensue between the companies and this. And I wonder, most technologies I see a need for, I don't know if there's really the biggest need for this technology. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think, your viewers out there? Go ahead and let us know what you guys see the future of drone technology. By the way, I'm going to loop back a little bit. You guys were right. A drone is a aerial craft. They can only be classified as aerial craft. So is it just an autonomous vehicle then if it's a self-driving car?
Autonomous car, autonomous truck. Now, the real question is, what would an autonomous boat be called?
That is it. Google. Here we go. You guys talk for a second. I'm Googling this.
Autonomous boat?
Yeah, because that's how most products are moved across, like around the world, is on boats. Like, we don't use airplanes for everything. That would just be too expensive and insane. So the future is, let's completely automate our ports, because that means you're getting products out in and out faster.
Oh, wow. I'm not finding anything. I'm seeing autonomous spaceport drone ship. I think that might be a...
Now that's what we want.
That's what we need. So,
doesn't that sound incredible, though?
Why don't we have automated boats? Or do we?
Automated what?
Boats?
Here. I got a Wall Street Journal article from August 31st.
Autonomous spaceport drone ship. Okay, that's the SpaceX landing pad. That's not an actual ship, just so everybody knows. Which is an awesome name. That's some science fiction Star Trek level stuff. Dang, that's so cool. Autonomous spaceport drone ship. That sounds like something straight out of Star Trek or something. Okay, what's your article on, Paul?
Rolls-Royce has developed autonomous shipping technology that they're testing in the North Atlantic right now, which is interesting because it's some of the roughest seas in the world. So that is very, very interesting to me. That they're already going with with trying it out in really, really rough seas. So once the AI learns how to operate in rough seas, it'll be like perfect almost. That's insane.
What's interesting sorry, go ahead.
And they're saying here, so the boats won't need a crew, and as a result, they won't need like a sewage system or water or like kitchens or things like that, so they can spend a lot more room on actually storing goods, so even shipping stuff will be cheaper that way.
That's so weird. Just imagine like a boat, like you're on a cruise ship and you just see a boat driving past you and it's just on its merry way. Doesn't need sleep, doesn't need anything.
That makes piracy pretty easy.
Doesn't need insurance. Holy crap.
Yeah, he wouldn't even be able to have a control panel. It'd just be like the pirates would board and be like, now what do we do?
It's all locked up. It's like they can't even... What if they had like drone, like RoboCop things on it, like patrolling
please.
it? So what's interesting about that is people are like really scared of like this drones and the drone technology, the self-driving cars, self-driving boats or whatever, self-navigating boats. I think what people don't realize is that technology has been invading those spaces since the dawn of time. You know, it's just a natural progression to make it to that point. Like, a car, how little do we actually control in our car that the computers don't actually handle, or that technology of sorts doesn't handle? And planes fly themselves and boats basically navigate themselves, you know? So it's natural progression to just take away that last little step, the human that has to be there to control everything. Why do they need to be there? I don't know. It's interesting to see. I'm excited to see the future of that.
So our next topic we're going to be discussing is mixed reality in the workplace. I think the applications are endless, especially with...
Tell me about that video you found first.
I cannot remember what it is, but I can look.
Go ahead.
So guys, keep talking.
So I think what do you think, Paul? Mixed reality in the workspace or mixed reality in consumers' hands? Which one do you see first, and why?
First, I'm sorry, you cut out. Okay. I would see it in the workplace first, just because I don't see a big gaming application or like a big entertainment application for MR. I see more like just utility in MR technologies. So like if I'm working with a team in India on something, like a team of engineers in India, and we all have MR headsets, we can see we can all act like we're in the room together because we're seeing the same thing, and we're able to
Collaborate.
Yeah, collaborate much easier. And I was gonna say, just interact with the holograms in real time and see what the other person is doing, and have these real discussions without having to buy plane tickets to go into the same room as the actual person. It feels the exact same. So it's very interesting that I think, and that's why I think it'll be more in the workplace than we see in consumer products. Obviously, we'll have consumer versions, but I would see the biggest use of MR technology is in the workplace by far.
Yeah, some people see it as almost purely workspace and or utility purposed. Maybe not necessarily in your workspace, but for utility purposes, whether it's driving or and I think it's gonna be a really big driving force behind it. I'm really excited to see it. Austin found a really cool application of it in the workplace. I mean, we could talk about all day of all the different applications that would be, but this one actually stuck out to me a little bit more than some of the other ones. Go ahead, Austin.
So there's this company. It's a startup company called Daiquiri, and they have these utility mixed reality headsets, and they look like something out of Tron or Star Trek or whatever, and they're specifically built for the workplace. Like the example video, it shows them using this mixed reality device, repairing a power plant system, or giving a jet engine a 5-point inspection and making sure everything's working. And it explains how you can leave notes all around your workspace, and they're saved there. And then when you come back to work on this engine or whatever, you can your notes are there, and your ideas or whatever you're working on is still there, and it's like it's actually your reality. It's the applications are endless, and I think Daiquiri is a really cool company, and you guys should check it out.
So what's cool about this that I found that I just walked over his shoulder and I looked at what is it how futuristic it is. Go ahead and go check out their video if you guys have a minute, and it is one of the most futuristic right now things I've ever seen. It's what they've done is they've integrated certain work devices with mixed reality. So a hard hat and safety glasses. It's a mixed reality device with a hard hat and built-in safety glasses, which is really cool to be able to integrate these two technologies together. But it just looks insanely futuristic. These people walking around, it looks like they're walking around the holodeck or in the boiler room in Enterprise. It's really crazy because it's not just a normal hard hat like you're expecting. It's like this really white, shiny, big hard hat. It's really cool. Extremely futuristic. And I see so many applications for this when they're going to start mixing these mixed reality devices with devices that we already use every day in the workforce, ones that we can't even think about.
And you can get the Daiquiri Smart Glasses Developer Edition for one low cost of $5,000.
So is it a completely different device? They've made it themselves? Is it not based off HoloLens or anything like that?
I haven't read into it much. I think they've made it themselves. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Interesting. I thought they were using HoloLens. What it looked like in the trailer, what I saw, looked like they basically just rebranded the HoloLens.
The dev edition looks a lot different than the one in the video.
It seems like it's tethered as well, looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it wasn't tethered in the video. Interesting. Then maybe it was a prototype
it's not
video.
Tethered. It has a it seems like its power brick is what it's tethered to. So it has a separate power brick.
Okay.
Weird.
Interesting.
Makes sense. I mean, if you're going to be working for long hours, you're going to want something like that. But if you're working 8 hours a day, you're going to want to be at peak performance for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, and if you have like a battery inside your glasses, your head is going to get hot because the battery will inherently heat up. So I think that's a good idea, actually, just separate it out, and you can put it somewhere that's a little more like
palatable.
So like I can put it on like my belt, and it won't get as hot there. So.
And you could just swap out batteries. Technically, you could be running the device constantly, just swapping out batteries. It was just an interesting use case of mixed reality in the workplace that I haven't seen before, where it's actually, instead of just using it to collaborate or to demonstrate or to do just certain things like that, it was actual, like, here's a hard device, an actual device made for it. Do you guys think we're going to see a lot of mixed reality devices pop up, or do you think there's going to be main brands that dominate the field, or do you think there's going to be little niche fields for everything?
Right now it's looking towards the latter one, but it's probably going to change.
Yeah, I would say that right now you're going to see a lot of niche come up, and then you're eventually going to see the market movers take the biggest market share, and everyone else is either just going to sell to them or just give up because no one's buying their products. So, like, obviously right now the big player is Microsoft, and they're like the only big player. We'll wait to see what like Samsung, Apple, those companies come out with. I know they all are working on MR headsets. So it'll just be interesting to see what these big companies come out with, and if something like Meta can actually make a name for itself in the market and cut out its own little niche. So
or something like this little company, is this something that's looking to get bought up by Microsoft? Because in all honesty, unless they've patented the mixed reality with the safety glasses and the mixed reality with that, I mean, there's nothing stopping Microsoft from coming in and just strapping a little attachment onto it, And even the charging port, I mean, you just put an external battery and you run a USB port to it. I mean, there's not much that can do that the HoloLens can't do, which is kind of scary. I kind of don't like when big giant companies can kind of rule these fields, but it's such a new technology that I think there has to be a leader in the industry. But it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, even if it wasn't, I think you'd see it turn into like what happened with VR, where like you had Oculus, which was a small company, and then Facebook came in and bought it, and then you had HTC respond by building the Vive and stuff like that. And obviously I just came up with the two biggest VR headsets right now, but you still get the idea that like even if these small companies were here, I mean, these companies have so much cash on hand. If there is a small company, they're just going to go out and buy it. So, like, if Apple actually saw something that they liked, they have, like, I forget how much cash they have on their hand, but it's a lot. It's more than almost any company has right now. So, these companies can freely afford any company that they see fit.
Yes, which is good because that can bring those technologies to life with all that funding and all that that access to, corporate and stuff that they'll have. At the same time, it kind of gets a little bit scary. So with VR, that's a good topic to go over. So with VR, there's like the Oculus, the HTC, there's lots of different devices, but they all got kind of scammed. They all got kind of blindsided with the little phone, with the little Google Cardboard and Samsung VR or whatever they are, the little devices where you just stick your phone in there and stuff like that. Nobody saw that coming. I mean, people saw that coming, but nobody saw it completely demolishing VR like it has. I mean, you tell someone that there's an Oculus Rift that they have to have a computer to run for, and it retails for $600 plus the computer or whatever they have to run for, or they can buy a little 30 device and run it on their Samsung phone for inherently the same experience to some consumers. Which one are they going to go for? Do you guys see something like that coming into the mixed reality spectrum, like a Google Glass competitor that everybody's like, oh, this is good enough. I don't really need a full-on HoloLens. I don't need a full-on Meta. This Google Glass is good enough.
I think it depends on what your intended use is for the device.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, I would completely agree. Showing that if you're in an industry application for it, obviously you're going to want the HoloLens and the very best you can get. But if you're just like someone who's just doing it for entertainment purposes, yeah, you can go with the cheapo model and you'll get a good experience, but it's not going to be the very best you can have, which is what people in industry will need, which is what the companies will be willing to pay for. So VR right now is trying to fit like to the consumer models, whereas MR needs to find out that, and I know they do understand this, that they're building themselves up for businesses and not anything else. So I think they're covered in that sense.
It's smart to do that because then it can inherently bleed out into other parts of the world. You know, if you use it at work and you love it, you're going to think of other applications you're going to use it at home. Or, I mean, there's so many applications for it that it's endless. I'm just wondering if there's going to be a little, you know, attachment for your phone or a tablet that you throw on and you get a mixed reality experience that's quote unquote good enough. You know what I mean? That's happened. And they're completely different industries. VR being, you know, very entertainment and consumer oriented, and mixed reality being very business oriented. But it's just interesting to talk back and forth about it.
The company Daiquiri, this is just really cool. I just thought I would like to share it. They've created this super fast 3D printer that is powered by holograms. And
It's wait, come again?
so it's this 3D printer that's powered by holograms,
Uh-huh.
and so it like projects like in this example they use a paperclip, and it projects light in the form of a paperclip, and it uses lasers, and it creates this paperclip. At least that's what I got from the article. And it does it in about 5 seconds. And that's the limitations. It can only do like small objects, but it's like that's some pretty legit technology right there.
Yeah, that's crazy to be able to have. Those are probably two of the most futuristic technologies you can get right now, completely blended together to work seamlessly. That's crazy.
I'm also just looking at their other product offerings here, and they have this, like, they call it the Daiquiri Cube, and it's like a little, like, you can embed it in anything you want it to be embedded in, so like a camera, or in like a projector to give everyone around an MR experience using that style.
Ooh.
It's
That's
not
cool.
like released yet, and I think it's just like a concept, but it looks really cool, and it sounds really cool. It's just like
That
this,
sounds really awesome.
yeah, it's just like this little cube that you can embed in your product.
So it's cool to see these little companies coming up and trying to conquer these big problems that nobody else is really targeting, or maybe they're problems that we don't know we have yet, but they're so futuristic that they're talking about it. That's cool. Daiquiri. I haven't heard of them. That's a new company to pop up to me.
Yeah, it is very cool. Yeah, it seems like they have a lot in mind. So like they're trying to deal with AR, they're trying to deal with automation, they're trying to deal with cars, oil and gas industry, and like
What's the company
manufacturing.
name called again? I want to look them up on Angel List.
DAQRI. But yeah, it seems like a really cool company. They're trying to solve a lot of the problems, or they're trying to be at the forefront of a lot of these things. So definitely a company to keep your eye on in the future here with AR, MR technologies, as they seem to trying to be getting the best of both worlds going here.
Definitely. I'll definitely be following this company.
4D, so that their company is classified as a 4D augmented reality platform. Interesting. I've never heard it put that way. 4-dimensional. 51 to 200 employees. They considered industrial. Oh, yeah, right there on their site. Let's see what their funding is. Oh, wow. 200 in October 26th of 2016, they received $200 million in funding. And just before that, they received another 130 million in funding. Incredible. I love to see that. That's so much funding.
They brought more to the table than Magic Leap.
They did bring more to the table than Magic Leap. And they're showing us a lot more than Magic Leap. With
And they have a helmet
the
design coming in as well, if you didn't see that. Like they have a MR helmet design, so that'll be interesting as well.
So go ahead and check out that company. That's cool. Did you see our HoloLens versus Fog video?
Yeah, I did.
What was your hypothesis before what did you think was going to happen before it actually came out and happened?
Well, I thought that it would recognize that the fog was there, and as a result, it would constantly be trying to scan your surroundings and you wouldn't be able to use it at all. So I was actually surprised once you finally got it working reasonably.
That it doesn't translate to a video. I mean, it does translate to video kind of well, but that room was so foggy. I didn't think anything was going to see it. I totally did not predict that it would not see my hand signals. For some reason, I forgot that was even sensors that did that. I thought that was magic that just saw my hands. I didn't even think about that. But I don't know. I was really impressed with the findings. What about you, Austin? What did you think?
It handled surprisingly well, better than I thought it would. I thought it was really cool how it actually like tried to map out the fog, and like you could tell that the holograms were trying to work with it. I thought that was really interesting with the outcome. But now that I look back on it, like when in the heck would you ever be using the HoloLens in fog unless you're like smoking a blunt with your buddies?
Here's what I thought the application was. What about firefighters? Firefighters run into a place and someone else has another HoloLens and it can like direct you where they are, or it can see through the walls. Like smoke's too thick to see through sometimes for firefighters, but what if it was just displaying like the mesh on the side of the wall so you could see where you were going and you could see a whole layout and prediction of the house right when you walked into it? That was kind of
that'd be cool.
My ideologies. That's what I thought about. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought about. I even actually put that in the description as like what we saw as the possible uses for it. So I'm glad you saw that as well, Eric, that it could be really useful for like first responders and people like that.
Well, Paul, nobody reads the descriptions.
I know. That's why I leave little Easter eggs in there.
That no one will ever find.
Yeah.
So I totally see it for applications like that. How cool would that be? Because fog, it gets really thick sometimes for cars. Like you'll just be driving, and especially in lake cities. We're not around a lot of water here, but next to the ocean and in lake cities, a lot of fog, very thick, comes over, extremely thick, where you can't see the end of your hand sometimes. So for cars or for you to be able to get around at a time like that, or military applications, there's a lot of applications, I believe, but probably not for the HoloLens, because probably look a little crazy walking into a house on fire with a HoloLens on.
But speaking about the car one, what would be cool is if you had sensors for one in your entire car. In your windshield was the MR device itself, and it could scan like hundreds of feet in front of you, so you could see obstacles coming up, because it can use the power of your car, like the computing power of your car. So like turn your car into a massive MR headset. Now that would be cool.
Yeah, that's what I always thought for vehicles. People always thought like I was crazy for wanting to use it in a car, which we did try to film a video using HoloLens of the car. It did not turn out very well. We're going to try to remake that video. But I see, that's what I see the use is that you would get in the car and your HoloLens would just sync right up with your car, and it would use all the sensors and it would use all the extra power that's built into your car to see, like you said, hundreds and hundreds of feet, and it would use map data to lay it out, and other people would have already mapped roads. So at some point, the sensors wouldn't even be as necessary. I mean, they would be necessary, but not for navigation purposes, more for obstacles and such. But and it would get in and totally trigger that, because that'd be so cool. You could get a heads-up display with hundreds of feet in front of you and predictions, and with all of the metrics of how far cars are moving, your blind spots. I see so much application for that. But it's at the same time, what's going to be first? Mixed reality in cars or self-driving cars? What do you guys think?
Self-driving.
Definitely self-driving. I mean, Tesla's basically already there. It's just dumb people killing themselves, which is their only problem. Like falling asleep at the wheel. Actually, I read an interesting article that's one of Ford's biggest problems with engineers testing their self-driving cars, is that they can't keep the people like supposed to test the cars awake when they go on these like cross-country trips with the car driving itself. People just can't stay awake at the wheel, even with all the cues they install.
I wouldn't be able to. I mean, just sitting there and zoning out, even sometimes when you put your car on cruise control, it gets a little bit, you get a little bit sleepy. There's not a whole lot to think about. Even people that are driving their cars, for heaven's sakes, fall asleep at the wheel. So that's something that's hard to navigate. Okay, what do you think is going to be first? 100% autonomous cars, where most of the cars on the road are autonomous, or mixed reality use within vehicles?
I still think 100% autonomous cars. I just don't think that the car companies are thinking about MR. Like I guess technically some cars are already AR. So like when my dad had that Camaro, it had a speedometer that would project up onto the windshield, which was technically AR. So I guess that's the future of it. It's just showing you how fast you're going, oil pressures, things like that.
So, yeah, I see like 100% automation more practical, more, I mean, because having AR in your car, it's just adding more distraction. I don't know. I think automation is more of the way to go, and that's what all these companies seem to be doing as well.
And VR, futuristic exhibit. We have a video idea that we were going to put out quite a while ago. We just couldn't figure out a way to do it, and it was art and mixed reality. What do you guys think about art and mixed reality? Think you're going to walk around, a museum and see really cool representations of it, or I don't know. What do you guys see as the artistic value in virtual mixed and augmented reality?
I can see it bringing the museum to your house. I don't see it like, I'm going to go to the museum and I'm going to put on a headset. Like, if I'm going to the museum, I'm just going to go look at the art. Like, I don't know if there's that much help for, like... Well,
if you go to the museum and you put the headset on, it could give you, like, information about that piece of art. It could, there could be, like
a fragment tour, scene. Like, it takes over the room and you're, like, inside of the wall.
I think it would be cool to use one in a museum just because you're at a museum and they do cool stuff like that.
But why not just bring it to your own home?
Okay.
Anyways, so I saw a picture on Facebook, and it was a picture of these kids at a museum, and there's this beautiful painting behind them, relatively beautiful painting. Huge, and all the kids were sitting on the benches on their cell phones. And this picture gets so much crap. Everybody's crapping on this video so much. This picture. And they're saying, oh man, this generation is faltering. Why, there's this beautiful painting. Why aren't they looking at it? And these kids need to be examining and taking in this culture around them. But the kids are using an app that's teaching them about the painting right there. And I think there's this knowledge gap there. And I think we're going to see that a lot with mixed reality, where people don't see it as enhancing the world around you. They're going to be seeing it as escaping the world around you and such. Because before, a kid's not going to go up and read a 10-paragraph long thing about a painting. But if you create a creative app where they're going to be entertained learning about the painting and they're looking at the painting at the same time, I mean, there's some real value to that, some real significant educational value. What do you guys see with VR and that? What do you see the acceptance of it? Do you think people are going to be like totally on board, or they're going to be kind of haters and not really
there's always going to be haters,
understand what is going on? Go ahead.
I think as the older generations die off, people will just be more accepting of stuff like that in general. See, I can't imagine what it will be for us right now, but there will be something in the future where we're going to be exactly like our parents. We're going to be like, oh, they don't understand it. They're just trying to get away from the world. And like, we just completely won't understand it. Like, we like to think that, we'll always be so understanding and such like early adopters. But eventually, we're going to be stuck in our way.
I can't wait to be sitting on my porch and yelling at kids to get off their darn hoverboards.
That's funny. So, yeah, but I see it from our generation too. I see this almost like this self-hatred, this self-loathing of like, oh man, our generation's so crappy. We need to get off our technology and stuff, but then they use it. I don't know. Just an interesting discussion. Anything else to add to that?
Nope.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so going off what Austin said, hoverboards. So have you guys watched like Futurama, and you guys saw like the predictions of what people thought the future was going to be like, right?
Yeah.
So in Futurama, they have, if the viewers aren't familiar with it, it's flying cars and robots taking care of people, and it's a happy-go-lucky world. And at some point, there was a paradigm shift, and it kind of switched from the future's a happy-go-lucky, awesome place to be to the future is the end of the world. It's the worst place ever, and take a couple steps back though to the future. So people back in the day, what they thought was going to be the future was going to be unlimited power, not like physical power, but like electricity. That we would have unlimited power. We would be able to charge these cars and fly with them, and we would have unlimited access to this electricity and power and stuff like that. But I heard an interesting person talking about it, and they said we actually got unlimited information, which is something that nobody saw coming with the internet and all that stuff like that, is we've reached this unlimited access to information. And what do you guys see as like the future? Do you see us getting more unlimited information or more unlimited power? It's kind of fun to make predictions or to see where we're going to be. What do you guys think?
That's a good question. I don't see how you can get more unlimited information because it's already unlimited. So I'll tackle the unlimited power question. I think you're going to see land in the deserts become more and more valuable, and people are just going to fill hundreds of square miles with solar panels, and that'll be our unlimited power. And I put quotes around that because it's technically not unlimited as it's limited to the amount of sun, but obviously in the desert, the sun pretty much always shines. So that's why countries like Ethiopia is actually one of the biggest investors in solar technology right now, because they're one of the countries that has the most to gain from it. Whereas like the United States, yeah, we have like a big desert in the west, but really there's not a lot of places where we can use it. So it'll be interesting to see what countries become exporters of power and what countries become importers of power. Like, I think the eastern seaboard of the United States might actually become an importer of power, and the West might be able to sustain itself, but definitely not the entire United States. But I guess that might have been a bad way to answer that question, but you'll have to let me know.
No, you're good. You're good. I can build off of that. So with the future of unlimited power, as the past has showed us with our access to unlimited information, some of the most exciting things is not actually the information, but it's the devices that have come from this, the hardware. So to access this unlimited information, we created computers to have an interface to access the internet, to connect to each other. But that wasn't easy enough. So we had phones and smart devices, and now we're getting mixed reality devices, and we're seeing this progression. What kind of hardware do you guys anticipate arriving from having unlimited power? What are some staples that we can't even really comprehend right now, but just some theory about their users too? Our viewers, go ahead and listeners, go ahead and throw out your guys' ideas while these guys explain theirs.
You better put your tinfoil hats on for this one. We're going to make chips that go in your brain.
Okay, so chips that go in your brain. Continue. I want to see where this is going to go.
And it will tell you everything that you need to know, connect you to everyone and whatnot. I don't know how it's going to work, but I know it's going to happen. That's my inner schizophrenia talking to me.
Does that have more to do with information or more with power? Do you think this is what is the point of this microchip? Is it connecting us to people? Is it generating power? What's going on with the chip?
It's more to do with information.
What does the chip do? I'm still curious.
What?
What does the chip do? I'm still curious.
I don't know what the chip does.
You see, you're just anticipating that we're going to put technology in our brain for no reason.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, that's the greatest use of technology I've ever heard.
I don't know what it is, but I want an SD card in my brain right now.
I want Cortana. No.
What's the benefit of having it in your brain rather than just on your head?
You never see it.
I was going to say a contact lens that pretty much delivers MR technology right to your eye.
Paul, that's probably a better way to go.
I want to live in a future that Austin creates. I want like robotic arms.
For no reason though. You don't know what they do.
It's the exact same as a normal arm. It doesn't have extra strength or anything, but it's robotic. So I'll take it. Okay. That's totally valid. You know, I definitely see an integration between the human body and technology to become much more prevalent in the future. What about you, Paul? Try to go more the power way. What are some devices like flying cars, hoverboards?
Like, I don't know if I ever see hovering anything happening unless you have, which I guess my scope is very limited, but I just don't see hovering anything. I just see, like, I don't know. It's kind of hard. I don't see, like, a hovering car that's, like, silent enough. I can see super fast airplanes. I can see space travel instead of air travel to get around the world. So, like, if I want to go to travel to China, rather than getting on an airplane, put me on a space shuttle and I'll get there much quicker.
Or teleportation. Should we get into No, let's not get into teleportation. We're getting way too theoretical now.
Let's not open that can of worms.
But
hyperspeed is a possibility. Like, supersonic travel is being worked on with airplanes. The problem is it's just too loud right now.
And it's probably not super efficient compared to what we have already because of lack of energy and power.
So I guess life.
So I guess what I try to get at is, I think there's people keep saying there's like no more technology to explore and we're not going to reach it. And I think we haven't even hit that. We're on the cusp of like the information renaissance and the automation renaissance. You know, I'm excited to see what kind of things come from unlimited power, because a lot of the reasons we're held back as a society is because we don't have enough power to do certain things. We don't have enough fuel, and fuel can be anything from electricity to batteries to fossil fuels to anything like that. And that's holding us back quite a bit. You know, the ability to not, have a battery that lasts forever, or to have cables that still need to charge things. And so there's so much hardware to keep pushing us forward in the future that it's fun to just try to make assumptions, like to guess at what kind of crazy things are going to happen with.
I want wireless monitors.
I want wireless monitors too. That is a topic for a different day. But why the heck do we still have cables? Paul, answer me. Why do we still have cables?
To keep the cable companies alive.
No.
The companies that make the cables, dude. Monster.
This is just a money game?
Yeah, that's all it is.
No, I want progression.
To entry.
It's like the shutdown of the car that runs on water. You know, there's some guy that made a cable, that made it so you don't need cables anymore, but the big cable companies came in and shut him down. I'm serious though. Why can I stream an HD movie from Netflix servers to my computer, to my TV, or to anything, but I can't freaking stream a Blu-ray DVD from my Xbox to my TV? Why? At 60 FPS, when it's like literally a foot away. There should be no bandwidth. If I can never mind. Okay, I'm not gonna get into it. What about wireless power? Didn't you send me anything about wireless power, Paul?
It's coming around, I think.
Disney's been working on a system to charge your devices wirelessly if you're standing within the area of their device. I'll try and find it again. Give me a moment.
It was like a whole room they had built out, correct?
Now, why is Mr. Walt working on this?
That is a good question, and I think it's because they have a lot of money, so they can do whatever they want. That is a good question. I saw that, and I was, why is Disney forwarding this technology and pioneering it? If I remember correctly, it was a whole room that every part of the room was technically a conductor, and it was conducting energy, so no matter where like you set your phone down, or if you were close to a wall or something like that, it would continue to charge your phone.
Now that does beg the question, would humans in that room be considered conductors? Because humans are conductors of electricity, which brings up some liability issues as well. Like how much voltage is coming through.
Just don't go in if you're pregnant.
So what it shows right here is it's got a room, and it's got a pole coming down through the middle, just like a banister or like a stripper pole is what it honestly looks like inside of the room. And they show electricity coming off of it, and then they saw a bunch of devices like an RC car, a fan, a light, a phone, all these different devices not connected to anything but working seamlessly. They're all unplugged and they're all just sitting there, but they're working. So I'm guessing what this is saying is it says a quasi-cystic cavity resonance for ubiquitous wireless power. Holy crap, that was a mouthful. Let me try that one more time. A quasi-static cavity resonance for ubiquitous wireless power transfer. Whew, holy cow, that was a lot. That was a lot to say. I need to sneeze. Someone talk for a minute.
So I'm just reading up a little bit on it more. So the entire room is encased in aluminum, and that's actually a big magnet that's coming down into the room, that pipe. And at first, they could only get devices directly 90 degrees away, like 90 degrees from the pole to charge. But if you set up 3 other poles, you can get devices all around the room to charge no matter what. And they say that it is safe as long as you stay 46 or 8, about a foot away from the pole. You should be safe, and it does not exceed the federal guidelines for how much energy a person can be subjected to.
Okay.
So it's legal. It's legally there. It's totally fine.
Yeah, everything about the room is fine.
Now, does this take a lot of energy to do, or is it pretty efficient?
They say it puts 1900 watts into the room, which I'm not like an electrical engineer, so someone will have to let me know if that's a lot. But it seems like they're charging a lot of devices using this room. They have looks like an RC car, Bluetooth speaker, 2 lamps. I don't know what that purple light thing is. Another lamp. Looks like a fan. Yeah, something like that. So, like some things that do
an average room.
Quite a bit of, yeah, but they do pull quite a bit in energy. So, this would definitely be an interesting thing for if they put it into your home, even though you would have that pole. They have to work out. I wonder if you could put that inside of a wall
or in the ceiling.
Yeah. So,
or just cover it up with a banister. But this is really exciting to me, and I haven't seen much news about it because I've always discussed wireless power and its capabilities, and I think cables are holding us back a lot as a society. And I think this is a great step forward. I'm really curious. I'm really curious why Disney Research Hub. I'm really curious why Disney Research Hub is the one pioneering this technology, and I haven't seen it anywhere else. Maybe I'm not in the loop enough. If you viewers know any other sources like this, or if they're behind, or if we're behind on the information, go ahead and shoot it to us. But I haven't seen anything as far as wireless power. I've seen charging pads where you set your phone on something that does it, but nothing where it's just in the air around you, it charges it. That is so mind-blowingly cool and useful. Could you imagine never having your phone dying in public settings? This is just all your devices are being charged.
But it still says it's relatively safe.
Relatively safe. Yeah, I think you can probably push the batteries. We have a microwave that shoots radioactivity into your food and you eat it, Austin. Okay?
Yeah,
and
don't
people
talk
don't
to us
think
about
that.
Product safety. Okay.
Yeah, product safety. I don't think it's too big of a deal because if you just walk around your house and look at how many things are unsafe, you have a freaking wall plug that a little kid could walk up and just stick his finger in, or you have, if a wire's not cut right, or you grab a piece of metal out of the wall, that's pretty dangerous. Or there's so many hazards around the space, and microwaves, people put their face right up against the microwave while it's cooking stuff. Yeah, and I know that's safe, but it's the meaning behind it.
That's how it was invented. He melted a chocolate bar in his pocket. And
he was also sterile, right?
Yeah.
Which is an important fact.
But I don't know. I'm just so excited. A mixed reality device. Could you imagine you're using your HoloLens and it just works? You don't have to worry about charging. You don't have to worry about anything like that. It just works. What'd be cool is to get a Tesla battery on your house. Boom, you plug your Tesla battery in your garage, and your whole entire house, you got the tiled roofs, you got the wind solar panels, so it's reusable energy, and then it comes into your house and it's completely no plugs or anything like that. They all just run off of it. I mean, the future is such a bright place. I can't wait for it to exist. How far until you guys think we see this as actually in your house?
This that Disney just came up with?
Yes, or something relative to this. A while?
Yeah.
Like a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades?
A decade.
A decade, 10 years at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because from what it looks like it's going to be like a complete rehaul of the house. Like it's not just something you just like plug and play, like you add strips. That'd be cool.
You're gonna have to get a house built around this technology.
Mm-hmm. And I think, like, I mean, right now it doesn't look too cosmetically pleasing, but I'm sure you could put like make it look good.
And aluminum is not a cheap building material, and this room is completely encased in aluminum. So they've got to figure that out too.
Maybe you could just have like a charging room in your house. I don't know.
I think they're just
what's the point?
Yeah, what's the?
I think this has been a great and dandy podcast, and sorry, this podcast might have been a little rushed. We've been a little strapped for time moving into the new office and trying to get everything all settled, especially with people with school getting their midterms and everything in. So thank you guys for listening. It means so much to us, especially to be a part of our community. And we want to pioneer this community. And we love that you guys are with us. And if you've made it this far on the podcast, that means you're probably one of our best viewers and one of our most loyal viewers. And we appreciate you guys. We thank everything you do. If you guys could go ahead and share this podcast with friends and like it and comment. We love comments. Go ahead and tell us whatever you guys thought about, whatever. If you want to hate on us, we get a lot of that. If you don't want to hate on us, go ahead. We don't get very much of that. That'd be awesome, actually. Any last words, guys?
Yeah, ditto. Thanks for watching. And it means a lot to us that people actually care about what we say and actually want to critique us in what we say. I think it's great to have some useful discussions in the comments. So keep it up with all of your engagement and listening. Thank you.
We are actually looking to have guests on the podcast. We would love people that are really intelligent in certain fields and know what they're talking about, or people that just want to discuss things, they have ideas, or they think they could contribute at all. Go ahead and either hit us up on Twitter or leave a comment below if you guys would be interested in joining us on some of the podcasts. We've already got a couple guests lined up, and we would totally love to put you guys in that list. It would really add a lot to our podcast, and we'd love to have you guys. And if you've made it this far, you're probably very in tune with what we've been talking about, and we would love to discuss some stuff with you. Thanks for joining this week, and thanks for listening, and this is the Holo Herald podcast. Thanks.
Thank you.